I'm going to do a quick video on the needles that I use in my classes and in my kits. I'm going to try and keep it as short and simple as I possibly can. There are like 9 different types of needles that you can use for all of your felting, but there's only maybe 3 that I use the most. So I'm going to start by talking to you about the star needles. So the star needles come in 3 different gauges, and the gauge indicates the thickness or the coarseness of the needle. So the 36 star needle is orange. All the needles are color coded so that you always know what you've got. It's very difficult otherwise to see who's who in the zoo. So the 36 orange needle is really good when you start to build up all of your shapes. It's like a working needle, very fast and hard working needle because it's very coarse. And because it's a star needle, it has 4 sides. And when it has 4 sides, it means it has more barbs. So it has more working surface, so to speak. So the next needle in that range is the 38 needle. So this one is 36. That's the coarsest one that I have. Then we have the 36, which is a medium all-round needle. And I use this a lot for my 2D needle felting. And then we have a 40 star needle, and this is really good for all of the fine details for your eyes, faces, noses and things like that. There is another needle that's even finer, and it's triangle shaped, it's black, and that is really good if you just want to lay down one fiber at a time. And I use that a lot too in my 2D wool paintings. The other needle that is my absolute favorite is a spiral needle. And so the spiral needles on my website are red. So the red one is the spiral needle, and the gauge on that needle is 38, which is kind of medium. 38 gauge is kind of a medium needle, but because it has a twist in the tip, it felts really quickly and really firmly, and it doesn't leave any visible indentations. If you take the star needle, for example, the orange one, or even the blue one, and you felt with that, you'll end up with like holes on all of your work. With the red needle, the spiral needle, you won't have any of those kind of holes. So the way that I look at it is when you start building a shape, use your workhorse, the orange one, the 36 star needle. It just felts really quickly. But then when it becomes firmer, you go a little bit finer. Then when you want to finish and smooth the surface of your work, you're gonna go and either use a spiral needle or a really fine needle. So that's pretty much the needles that I use the most. The other tool that I use a lot is my multi-tool. So my multi-tool comes with 5 needles in the piece, and the needles that I put in here are triangle shape, and they come in a 38 gauge and they come in a 40 gauge. So one is a little bit finer than the other. The reason that I use triangle needles in my multi-tool is because the lesser sides it has, the easier it is to get into the wool. And because I'm using more than one, you don't want them to be too coarse because they'll just snap and you won't be able to push them into the wool. Now this particular multi-tool, you can actually take the needles out and you can store the needles inside the handle, which is really quite handy if you're traveling. The other thing I love about it is that the needles are very close together, which just gives you really nice precision. And yeah, just the whole ergonomical handle is just wonderful. So highly recommend this one. And it's made in New Zealand. I think that's pretty much all I want to share with you about needles. Yes, there are lots of other needles as well. You've got reverse barb, you've got even coarser needles than the ones I've showed you, but you won't use them as often. So I'm going to leave it with this. In my next video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the wool that I use, because needle felting is really easy, but only if you have the right tools. So if you have the right needles and you have the right wool, needle felting is really easy.